This is it, guys. Welcome back to Willow Springs Raceway. Big day, because we're joining FSELA with the Fast Lane Racing School, and they have their entire Formula car crew out here doing actually race training. But also got the McLaren out. Should be so much fun. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's first in the morning. It's actually not too hot right now. It's 64 degrees, 8 a.m. or so, and here we are. We have made it. And flash forward, here we are. We have made it to Willow Springs Raceway, joining FSELA right here to my left, then also the Fast Lane Racing School. These guys are so awesome, and again, being back here at Willow Springs Raceway is just so much fun. We have tons of Formula car tires, and then the actual Formula cars, you can actually come out here, reach out to the Fast Lane Racing School in FSELA, and you can actually get behind the wheel of one of these Formula cars and learn what it takes to drive them, and also get your own racing license, which is really, really cool. I highly recommend you guys go to a racing school because it teaches you so much about how to control a car, you know, the fundamentals. I personally, back in the day, went to Skip Barber Racing School, and it was a really fun experience, but that wasn't with Formula cars, really. I had a brief experience with Formula cars for the first part, and the second part I did Miatas. This would be so much fun, and from my own racing school, I got my own SCCA racing license, so you can get your own license actually here with them, so make sure to check it out. In the meantime, though, we brought out the McLaren again, so we're going to get out on track with this beast right here, and it's been how many track days? So 1, 2, 3 track days with these tires, and there's still some rubber on them. However, just because there's rubber doesn't necessarily mean there's grip, because as many of you know, with tires and R compounds, they get heat cycled. So after a certain amount of times them getting super warm, once they've been heat cycled too many times, let's say like 20 times, they lose their grip. So tires can have plenty of rubber on them, but not have at all near the grip that you would expect. In general, though, should be a ton of fun out here, and it's pretty cool because I'm having our Giradisc racing brakes. These brakes have lasted perfectly. I mean, we did tons of sessions at Autocross recently. We've been to Laguna Seca multiple times, Willow, everywhere with this car, even Willow, and these brakes have been absolutely perfect. If you want the proper setup for your McLaren, I've reached out to FSELA, order some Giradisc brakes through them. They can hook you up with a great deal, and then also get the proper track camber settings, etc. But right next to us, I'm pretty sure you saw, we have a C8 Corvette, a Rapid Blue one, which I gotta say, I'm a fan of the Rapid Blue. It looks really, really cool. It is one color that you really didn't see that much when C8 Corvette was first being launched, because there's a delay with them. I'm starting to see them everywhere, and these are the available stripes that you can get with the car. So our C8R coming in soon, it gets built this upcoming week, will have really cool racing stripes as well. I'm just super pumped about it. Anyways, let's walk around, share some of the cars here. There's Steven's Pista down there. That's the Pista we drove in Willow Raceway. Really cool to see it here. But let's check it out again, because I think he's got new tires on or something. But that car on this racetrack would be so fast. It's the same Pista that we drove on Willow Raceway. So much fun with the Cup 2Rs that I had, but this one right now does not have the Cup 2Rs because they're out of stock. So normal Cup 2s on this racetrack. It should be right there next to the 720S. So low 120. Actually, our friend Billy Johnson just put down a 126 lap time with it, I'm told, with Cup 2Rs out here, which is really, really cool. These cars, they have so much performance in them, and the acceleration out of the corners being mid-engine, they just hook up and they go. So easily, the Pista being the track focus Ferrari, that being Pista actually really means racetrack in Italian. Even with the LTs, these cars are made to go on the racetrack. And if you use them for what they're meant for, you'll realize what makes them cost so much money, and then you realize that's completely worth it. Again, this car though is so much fun, having 710 horsepower, and you can even get carbon fiber wheels with it. Driving the Ferrari F8 Tributo compared to this car is interesting because it's got the same engine essentially, same horsepower, but the way it rides between each corner, it's not as track focused and sharp as this vehicle. It is so exciting. I think lap time wise, this is about probably a second faster or 2 seconds than the F8, just from my experience tracking the F8 on this racetrack. The F8 was amazing, but I just felt like the chassis itself, it had a much harder time putting down the power. But here's the catch. I've never driven a Pista on normal Cup 2s. I've driven it on Cup 2Rs. And instantly, when you have that much horsepower, that could easily be the difference between normal, Cup 2s and the 2-second faster Rs. So to give you an example, this is like a 2.5, 3 mile track. I think it's around 2. Anyways, Cup 2Rs would be around 2 seconds faster a lap than normal Cup 2s out here. So when you consider like Nürburgring lap times, when you see the new 992 GT3 and that car being like 15 seconds or so faster than the previous GT3, well, you got to think about it. That is with the Cup 2Rs, and if it's 2 seconds faster a lap on a 2 to 3 mile track, imagine a 12 mile track. That will be much larger. So you're probably gating that 10 to 12, 15 seconds alone solely off the tires. But Cup 2Rs don't last as long as normal Cup 2s for tracking. I'm told they're like the ultimate hot lap tire. So it's very interesting seeing them with the Corvette Z06 out here, because we've seen test footage of the Z06 going, corner to corner out here, and it looked really cool. It sounded good. I'm kind of concerned when it comes to the maintenance, because even with the Cup 2Rs and the Ferrari, it's like $4,000 a set, $3,000 to $4,000. God, this thing is so much fun. Woo! Woo! 120, basically 128, not even trying. One, two, 8.
Hey, you let her drive.
With ball tires. These tires are gone. I went to Monterey with them, autocross with them, went to Laguna
These
with
are the
them.
Goodyears, right?
Yeah.
128, and that's probably faster than some of the race cars here.
Crazy. So funny because having the car out here with tires that have gone through thousands of miles of road trips, of multi-track days, still clocking 128 and then even close to 27, which is insane.
Don't lie to your viewers.
What? You saw
He's
the
lying.
solo.
He's never been that fast in his life, unless he's been a passenger with me.
You want to give me a ride, Joe, in the G500? You want to show everybody the crazy downforce they have on your car going on right now?
No, I don't want to do that. It's a big secret.
It's a secret. It's a secret. Well,
My excess downforce.
The excess downforce. If you want to find the craziest GT500 in the world, that's going to be Joe's car right here because he's got the actual racing set up for the rear wing, and then you track with all the good sanitary stuff.
Or my daily accoutrement in the trunk. You know, when you track, you have to have your wipes.
Your wipes.
You have to have your spare shoes.
Oh, dude, those would be the best racing shoes of all
Best
time.
racing shoes.
Do you want to try them on right now? You want to take off the socks?
I have a feeling they may not fit. And Mercy may be quite upset if I try to put these on my feet.
But what kind of wrap do you have in this car again? It's a full satin PPF, right?
Yeah, you know, the full Expel Stealth thing.
But you know what, guys? Stay tuned because Joe's getting a brand new car. It's on the down low right now, isn't it? Or is it like official?
It's kind of on the down low.
It's kind of on the down low.
We should do a big reveal, right?
It's
a car that most people will never have heard of, but if you have heard of it, it's quite exciting.
Especially if you're British, like
especially if you're into rallying. It's a special rally homologation car from the 90s. Let's see if any of your viewers can guess what it may be.
But I mean, Joe's GT500 track pack, make sure to follow him on Instagram, that being at Joseph Gatt Official. He's a really cool guy. You may have seen him in a lot of movies because he's Mr. Hollywood over there, really cool. Anyways, he's got the... on fire in the car. He's on fire. Oh no. Oh gosh. That's not good at all, is it? Caught fire. On the racetrack, caught fire. So I'm gonna call it short today, guys. Gotta be careful out there. I feel really bad for the owner, but it just really crazy. It's really hot too, so this is not the best conditions for anything to happen. Okay, well the day is coming to an end. As you can see, the track is now closed. Everyone's putting their cars away. FSC and all their cars got on their trailer and they're gone. Joe's gone. But I've got the McLaren right here in the garage, the pits right here. I have to say this, I have learned so much about tracking these supercars, these high performance mid-engine vehicles, and especially like the twin turbo equipped ones right behind me. So getting in this car, I honestly was coming out here today and I did not want to do anything crazy. You know, this is a very special car to me. It is very expensive, right? And I've done a lot of stuff to try to get it, you know, it means so much. So tracking it in the sense of having not new tires. These tires, I mean, we went all the way up to Monterey for Car Week with them. Also, they did autocross up there. We also went to Laguna Seca with them like the month before. They have been driven for thousands of miles. So in the sense of coming out here today on a 100+ degree day here at Willow Springs Raceway, you got to understand, oh gosh, almost fell over. You got to understand my concern, right? So I went out on track and I just didn't want to push it. I was just going easy, and it was crazy because I saw cones out there because that was the setup early on in the day, and it was funny. I was like trying to find my way through the cones. So moving on from that, I started looking at the lap times, and it was saying, you know, low 130, low 130. I'm like, okay, let's go a little bit faster. And then like 129 flats, getting into the 128 range, and for it to do that with tires as worn as these, easily heat cycled, I could feel the car understeer sometimes or kick the tail end around, but only because of the tires. And what's shocking to me was that I was able to enter and hold turn 2, the second wide sweeper, at 95 miles an hour. So what I'm trying to say is, I feel like even with the tires going down, I feel like as a driver, I'm improving. You know, I'm getting faster and faster. And I think the most important thing to talk about is the seat time. You know, the more and more I track this vehicle, the more seat time I get with it, the faster I am going, and that's regardless of the tires. So for us to pull those lap times with shot tires on a 105-degree day, all day on track, no heat soak or overheating, nothing. A lot of guys say McLaren's overheat. I think sometimes that's to do with like not having enough coolant or some other external factor, but going out on track today, 105, more than 100 plus degrees, did not overheat one time. So that shows you just how good of a car this really is. So lap after lap, plenty of downforce, especially plenty of front end grip. And the whole car itself is extremely neutral. You know, you can pitch and rotate the car into a corner super hard. A lot of guys say McLarens have like this terminal, a turbo lag. Here's the funny part. If you get inside this car and turn on dynamic mode within the track setting, it gets no turbo lag. The turbos are always spooled up and going corner after corner on the straightaways. The power band isn't like it's a normal turboed vehicle where you're low in your RPM and then suddenly it's putting on the tons of power. With this car, it's not like that. It's so gradual. It feels almost like as progressive as a naturally aspirated vehicle when you're climbing up in the RPMs. And we're going at 8,500 RPM lap after lap. Fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is that the turbo lag is just gone, I'm noticing with it, and it's this vehicle with the electro-hydraulic steering rack, and I've never really talked about this before, but getting out of like the C8 Corvette or other cars that I have, or even other cars that I've tracked with electric steering racks, 99% of cars out there have electric steering racks. And when you get out of the hydraulic setup with this vehicle, you can feel literally every single bump, rivet, everything on the road. So it lets you dial in the car and you can feel how every little tiny thing or input affects the chassis, affects the balance. And the balance, it's so raw. I gave someone a ride here today. She was telling me that was like one of the craziest experiences ever. Past anybody in it. But yeah, it's really crazy though how much a track can change throughout the day, you know, because first in the morning you won't feel any slipping, but later in the day, the hotter it gets, you know, it really affects how the cars perform.
That would be the best experience I've had. Well then,
hey, I hope you enjoyed the riding the car. It's so much fun because the experience the car brings. I've never been in a car that looks this good and could put down lap times like that. I mean, it wasn't even trying. The biggest thing I hear all the time from people is that don't buy a McLaren because they fall apart or this or that. Guess what? This car has been bulletproof. It has done so well. Everywhere I go, every racetrack I go to, every event, every trip, it has been perfect. And with that being said, the engineering, you can instantly tell how this car is based on essentially a Formula One platform, a chassis, especially with like the carbon fiber racing seats, because you're not moving at all on the track, with the roll bar from the factory and the harnesses out of the Senna. It just hooks up and it goes. You don't move around at all in the interior, and it feels so light and agile. And it's because it is. As you can see down there, there's the carbon fiber tub. So it's an agile vehicle. It's less than 3,000 pounds with 600 plus horsepower. That is what's going to make it so fast. So coming back outside here in the sun, it's cooling down, right? It's 100 plus degrees again on track. I'm just super impressed. If you have, any car, whether it being a C8 Corvette or a Porsche Turbo or a GT350R Mustang, you got to track it at least one time because you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here in the channel. This car was like pure telepathy here today. It was perfect in every single way. I love it. It's a permanent keeper for me. It speaks to me, you know, I feel like I'm one with the car, and that's what McLaren with the LT department does best. 570 finished in McLaren orange, so same basic color as our car, but it does not have the flakes on it, but it is a Spider, as you can see again, and with all that extra horsepower, I mean, this thing probably accelerates so hard. This is the proper setup for like the half mile, I think, and it's really cool seeing how the 570S design differs from the 600 LT. This is actually Mark's car, who's here today. But guys, please let me know, what do you think of tuning McLarens? Alrighty, Mark, you got to show us what you've got. Sounds crazy, man. Definitely much louder than my car. And a Spider too. Alrighty, man. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna get you out.
Appreciate it, dude.
Do both of them, man.
Anyways, then please let me know what you think of a Mark's 570S Spider. Should we tune the car? I don't know. How would it affect the track durability? I'd love to find out. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, to help me out. Also subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. I'll see all of you in the next episode. It's 100 degrees still. That is so crazy. See ya.